Hello and welcome back to my craft room. This is another video in my little mini series looking at UK based arts and crafts subscription boxes. Last week I looked at 7 different boxes from 6 different companies, opened them all up, had a quick look at the website and things. This week I'm going back into each box, one every day, trying out the activities, and then at the end of each video doing a little kind of summary and final thoughts about the box. So I've already looked at the Maker's Flock needle felting box. I've looked at 2 boxes from Deborah Beads, the kit box and the bead box. Today I'm looking at ScrawlrBox, which is an art supplies box. I've had a subscription. I had a subscription for a number of years to ScrawlrBox, and I stopped it at the beginning of this year. Nothing against ScrawlrBox. I still love Scrawler. I always looked forward to ScrawlrBox dropping through the letterbox. I just got to a point where now that I've retired, a few things had to go, and I had a lot of art supplies already, so I decided I couldn't really justify it anymore. But yeah, I thoroughly recommend it to anybody who whether it's a complete beginner wanted to build up your art supplies or someone who's already got a room full of stuff like me. It's still fun to get that little box of goodies each month, along with all the inspiration that comes with it. And maybe even if you have got these, even if you do get something you've already got, you'll be encouraged to try it out in different ways, combine it with other things perhaps. So I'm going to take you to my desk now and have a look at what we got in the box. So we had these, the star of the show really is these Inktense pencils. I'll link to the subscription box review playlist that I've been, all of these videos that I've done, and then you can have a look at when I opened this box and had a look at the website, and also at the other boxes I've been trying out. This isn't the current box. This was, Chris said to me I could just choose whichever box I like, so I decided to go for a past box. This was box 104, and these are Inktense pencils, which I love. I already have a number of Inktense pencils, but I'm always happy to get some more. And one thing that I haven't done, I have tried a little bit before, but I haven't experimented with much, is using white gouache paint with them to activate them instead of water. So that's something I'm going to be doing today. We also got a little fine detail brush, a number 2 round brush, this sticker, we always get Sweetie, which I've eaten, a pad of hot pressed watercolour paper. I love getting hot pressed watercolour paper. You don't seem to get it so often. Hot pressed, if you don't know, is smoother than cold pressed. It hasn't got that texture in it. It's got a little bit of texture, but nothing like as much. And I think that's really nice for these, and especially as I will want to go over my drawing afterwards and add some line work with something like a micron pen or whatever kind of fine liner. I've got probably something from a previous ScrawlrBox when I had my subscription. I'm not going into detail what came in the box because I did that in the first video. Here's the zine that we got. Lots of tips about how to use it, lots of inspiration, all kinds of things. I'm not going to look at that again now. What I'm going to this for is the challenge. So there's always this challenge every month. They do challenges all the time, all kinds of art challenges, giveaways, all kinds of activities going on. We'll talk a bit more about that later. So this is the challenge, Hodgepodge. This month's box is all about documenting a patchwork of possessions. Take inspiration from our featured artist by collecting your thoughts, a mishmash of items or the ingredients of your day. Shopfront or jumble sale, however you wish to display your wares. Plan, sketch, mark, make and paint with all the supplies included to bring your collection to life. And here's this is Maisie Summer, the artist. Let's show you her socials there. And here's her lovely artwork, really fun. I love that, and I like that she's used the Inktense pencils in different ways there. So some she's activated with water, some she's just used them as they are to create a different kind of mark, and she's also used the gouache paint to add details and things. And one thing I've always said with Scrawler is that when you do the challenge is you don't have to, obviously you need to use what's in the box, but you don't have to only use what's in the box. If you want to, like I've used a pencil to sketch out my drawing, and an eraser. If I wanted a different shaped brush, I would use one. If I want to add details after with a fine liner, I will do that. And Scrawlr don't mind that. They've always been quite clear about that. So let's take out all the supplies and get everything else out of the way. I've already sketched out some of this. Was my from where I sort of did a half-hearted swatch before. My swatches were always a mess. I've also used Inktense before to create designs on fabric, and I will put a link to that video. It's quite an old one, but I go through a few tips and stuff for using Inktense on fabrics in that, so there's no point in me doing that again now. I've got all sorts of ideas for this little project, but it's going to be quite long-winded, so I'm going to do a quickie version of it this afternoon just for this video, and then I will carry on and do more in my own time. First of all, let me just show you the photos that I'm going to take inspiration from. I'm going to be inspired by by these shelves you see behind me here, and I've taken some photos that I can show you. Here we go. So I've just taken some close-up photos of all the eclectic mixture of things. Some things I've made, some things I'm working on, some things people have sent me, all on these shelves, and I love these shelves. I really enjoy looking at them and remembering how much fun I had making these things, where I was living at the time, the people that have made gorgeous things and sent them to me. Yeah, every little piece here has got a memory attached to it. And I'm not going to do a realistic representation of these because there's just too much there apart from anything else. Okay, so what I've done is I've just taken a few bits from there, and I've mixed things around and sort of taken a bit of artistic license to come up with just one little sketch that will fit onto this A5 size paper that I can finish in time for this video. And my original idea, which I will still go back to, is that I'll make a kind of a trio of pieces that will all fold together. My little cabinet of curiosities. But I just don't think I'm going to have time to do that for this video, so I'm going to take this as kind of a practice run and just do these. You can see there it's quite faint because I've drawn in a pencil, and then I've just used a kneaded eraser to take most of the graphite off, because once I've activated with water I won't be able to rub it out then. So, but it's all going to look quite sketchy anyway. Got a couple of pots of water there, and I'm also going to be using, this is another little top tip, this is a chopping board. I bought it in the local supermarket really cheaply. You can buy similar pallets to this from art supply companies, but they cost a lot more that way. This works out a lot cheaper. If you look around, check when you're in a pound shop or wherever, check any local supermarket, look at the basics range and you should be able to pick one of these up for like less than a £5 anyway. Maybe a couple of quid. I know I got a good deal on these. I bought 2, and the idea is because they're textured like this, you can scribble on there. I'm going to do it with this one, with your Inktense pencil, and then you can activate it with water to create a little pool of paint. So of course that means you can also, let's put a bit of you can also mix on there to create new colours as well, and then you can lay them down as paint. That's just another way to use them. So one thing to remember with Inktense pencils is, you know, initially when you look at them and you think, oh, they're like watercolour pencils. They're not, they're different. They're more like an ink, a pigment ink. Once all of the pigment is activated with water and then it dries, it will then be permanent. So these that I did last week, if I tried to reactivate these now, nothing is going to happen. Sometimes if you haven't fully activated, so it's probably there we can still see the scribble lines, there might be a bit in there that wasn't fully activated and I might still be able to get that to move, but no, not really. If that was watercolour, that would still move. it doesn't. So you need to remember that's a good thing, because you can layer. Makes it really easy to layer without muddying up the colours, but you can't expect to be able to lift it in the way that you would with watercolours either, so you just need to bear that in mind. This was a part where I activated with the white gouache paint that came in the box. Did I show that just now? So it's this Daler Rowney Aquafine Gouache. So with this I activated with the neat paint. I might put a little bit of water with the paint, and you can see, so that's the same blue that I've got there, this iron blue. It comes out more kind of opaque and chalky looking, whereas here it's more clear and vibrant. And you can also use the gouache to put details over the top like I have there. So this is going to be quite a long-winded thing, and I think mostly I'm going to just show you some clips of it, and then finish a lot of it will be done off camera, and I'll come back and show you how it's looking at the end, and then we'll go through what I thought of the box altogether. I'm not going to use necessarily the same colours that I've got that are in, you know, the photos. I'm going to definitely take liberties, and I'm going to apply this in various ways. In some cases I will mix on my palette and apply with a brush. In other cases I'll go straight to, so I think perhaps for the shelves here, which I might put in first, I can just go straight onto the paper like that and then activate. Yeah. And then once it's all dry, I can come back in and do some line work if I want to. Say I decided that was a little bit bright, instead of going straight onto the paper, I could just mix a bit on my palette and add in just a tiny touch of blue, because that's opposite. So this is quite orangey, and the blue would be opposite on the colour wheel. So if I put just a touch of that, not too much, probably doesn't need more than that, it will just dull it down. Does that show on there? Yeah, you can see, so that's more of a dull brown there, and not quite so orangey. I could also layer over afterwards. Like this, to dull it down. So if I say I wanted to layer orange over pink like that, I can do that, and it's not gonna, it makes lovely clean layers, sort of transparent layers. What I'm wondering is whether to do the shelves with the gouache. So let's just try that a little bit. Oh, I want to put that on here. I think that's my favourite. So what I've done is scribble on that kind of terracotta colour. What is that called? Baked earth. Terracotta, exactly. And the iron blue, just a tiny scribble of the iron blue over the top, and then activated it with gouache. And I quite like that, because I've got some of the kind of grainy effect of the pencil left there, which works quite well for the sort of wood of the shelves. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put all those shelves in first, I think, in that way. Get myself started. I'm going to wipe this off, because if this dries on here, it won't come off. Now I've got it wet. And the kind of inside of the shelves, to show the sort of darker inside. See how vivid that's going down, because I'm going into the wet bit. I'm just going to add a bit more blue in to show that darkness. By the time I do my line work afterwards, that'll help to make more sense of it. But that's kind of where I'm going. I want it to look sort of pretty rough and ready like that, and have a sort of slightly wood grainy look to me. So I'm going to go through now and do that too with all of these sections, and then I'll be back. So I've got that kind of rough outline going, and then I'll fill in the kind of background inside each little shelf unit. Once I've put the objects in, I think it's going to be easier. So I'm going to do the stripy bits on these boxes now, and I think the easiest way to do that is just to apply the pencils directly to the paper and then activate them. I rubbed out my pencil lines, as I mentioned, so that, because I know it'd be difficult to rub out afterwards, but they're quite hard to see now. Also, I've just coloured in the wrong one. Oh, never mind, we'll just make those two fatter. You'll be fine. So yeah, with these I'll just put them on directly like that and then just activate with water. It's nice we've got this little delicate brush, that's ideal for this. I think there's still a bit of bit of the gouache paint in there. It's gone a bit chalky, doesn't matter. This is all going to be pretty sketchy, so it's quite nice that it's one of the things I love about having an art prompt like this. Gets you thinking of things that you might not have thought of otherwise, because it's now occurred to me that it would be really nice to have some kind of record of what I've currently got on the shelves behind me. So it's kind of a bit of everything that I enjoy doing is up there. Lots of my online friends, things that people have sent me are up there, so I could even make little notes about it as well. But I think it's going to be quite a long project that I will do over several sessions, so just had to try and find something a bit a kind of condensed version of it to do for this video. Just love these pencils, they're so versatile. You can just use them so many different ways. You can use them, like I mentioned, to create designs on fabric. You can also dye fabric and threads with Inktense, probably easiest with the blocks, but you could do it with this by shaving little shavings off of the pencils and activating them and then dipping the thread in. Create and Craft with Christine, she's done a lot of dyeing of, she's made her own variegated threads using her Inktense blocks very successfully. She's made some really beautiful threads. I'll try and remember to link to that. But I know a lot of my friends who'll be watching this also will know Christine already and will probably have seen those videos, but just in case you haven't. And I can always do another layer of this if I want to as well. So I'll move on to the next box, I think. Leave that just to dry a little bit and then I'll come back and do the cat. So I've started filling in those little storage boxes at the top. Now I want to do my cat, and I'm going to need to try and mix up a warmer blue for this. So put the iron blue down because that's the only blue I've got. Kind of thinking maybe a lot of this yellowy green. Let's see how that looks. Just to give me a starting point. Oh, much too green. Oh, it's a very lovely green though. Oh, gorgeous. Well, when I want a green in a minute, I must remember that. It'd be nice for my dinosaur. Johnny made me. So this cat came from Tori, Cool Kooky Creatures. She made one for Tom and one for me. Oh, that is a luscious colour. It's not quite the right colour, but just thinking if I now put some of this, it might have to be whatever colour it wants to be, I think. Quite like that colour, even if it's not quite right, I think it will do. And it's different enough from this, so I don't think the drawings of these little objects need to be perfect. They're just enough to remind me of these precious things that I have up in my craft room that make me happy every time I look at them. Some of them I've had a long time, some not so long, and sometimes they get shuffled around to make room for something new. Right, I need that to dry now before I can go in and add some details. The other thing I wanted to do was just, I'm going to get rid of that now, I think. Just want to add a darkness kind of around, and then my line work will also help with that. So, yeah, just a bit sort of. So that's that one little section's really starting to come together now. So I might not want to go around all of the outlines with my fine liner, so I can also use the Inktense to add line work. In fact, actually it works quite well for line work. Maybe I don't need the liner at all. Maybe I just use this. It's quite dark, this iron blue. It goes on very, when it's not activated, it's very dark, this colour. So I've already been going on much longer than I probably should, because we've still got to do the review bit at the end, and I kind of feel like I'm going to be fiddling about with this for hours, so I'm going to carry on by myself for a little bit, just pretty much doing the same thing I've done here. I might want to go into this one and add some details, little highlights with the white, just plain white gouache. Let's have a go with that. This is what's happening now, is exactly what I love about having a subscription box like this. It just makes you play in a way you might not have thought to do otherwise. Okay, now I don't have quite the right colours to do this with, but I'm just going to have to wing it. I've decided I'm not to. I don't really like the line work like that. I still want to try this kind of line work. So I'm hoping to make it look quite scribbly. And to make myself, because I know I tend to be a bit, I'm going to force myself to hold the pen quite loose up here and just try and do scribbly lines. I'll probably, if this goes all right now, I'll do the rest of it this way, and this one's going to look a bit out of whack with the others. But never mind, it's all an experiment. And this isn't about producing a beautiful piece of art, although it's always a bonus if you like what you end up with. But for me, it's more about playing and experimenting and having fun with these supplies. And I'm definitely doing that. See, that's making a very wobbly line. Sometimes I think if you do it 2 or 3 times, it starts to look deliberate. So I'm going to do that. Yeah, I think I like that better than the pencil marks. Depends on what you're doing, you know. I think for what I've got in my head for this is going to work better. Yeah. So I will probably now go over this with the wet brush and see if I can lose that blue that I've added there a little bit. And then let it dry and then go over with the pen to make it look the same as everything else. Now I've got a decision, do I do the handle that way? Yeah, I think I need to. Now with the words I can be a little bit more controlling. And this is the little sign that Tom 3D printed for me. Quiet please, fartist at work. So I think you can see I've got a lot to do. This is going to take me a good 2 or 3 hours to do. I'm going to finish it, I think, now off camera, because the point of this video is not so much to... You can see it's not going to be an expert tutorial. The point of this was to try out the supplies, see how much fun I can have with them, see what I think of the box. And so I'm gonna get this finished to a point where I'm reasonably happy with it, and then I'm going to come back and do a final summing up and sort of final thoughts on the box. So I'll be back then. Right, it's the next morning. Things didn't go quite according to plan. This is going to take a lot longer than I thought. So I've come up with plan B so that I can just have a finished piece of something to finish this video on. So I'll just take it back to the desk in a minute. But before I forget, I wanted to show you this. Ta-da! No longer available. Bought this ages ago. They do all kinds of t-shirts and stuff like that on there, all kinds of merch on the website, as well as the art supplies and the subscription boxes. So this is as far as I got, and it took me ages. It's too fiddly, the scale is too small, so I'm just going to look on this as a bit of a practice piece. And what it did make me think is that I've got little collections of oddities and precious things that wouldn't probably mean anything to anybody else but are precious to me. All over every room of the house, I've got a little collection of something, or a big collection of something, whether it be books or games or knickknacks or just odd items. Excuse me if you can hear my tummy rumbling, it's early in the morning. So I really would like to go back and do this. I like the idea of perhaps filling a whole sketchbook with sketches of my precious but probably not worth any actual money things. I just really love the idea. I feel really inspired by it, but it's not going to work for this video because it's obviously just all going to take too long. So what I've done now is I've taken one little mini collection out of the photos that you might remember seeing these, spotting these on the photos I showed earlier on the shelves behind me. And the reason I put these three together is that, well, I think they look cute together. But these have all come from my friend Johnny, Just Johnny Creations. I'll link up to Johnny. He makes these little creatures and sometimes sells them on his Etsy shop. Don't know if he's got anything in there at the moment. He does all kinds of other things as well. Yeah, and we've done a lot of arty collaborations together and stuff like that. And I shall be meeting up with him soon. So I thought I'm going to do these. So here we go. I've sketched them out. And like I did before, I'm just going to lift some of that graphite off so the pencil lines aren't too obvious, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. This is going to be sketchy. And as I say, what I love the idea of is taking a sketchbook and just filling it with all of my precious little things. So I'm going to now just do a really simple painting of these little felty creatures. Just enjoy myself, just have a bit of a play. I think for the elephant I'm just going to use this green as it comes. One of the things I just love about these Inktense pencils is how that looks so dull, doesn't it? But they just come to life when you activate them with water or with gouache. You can also, I've tried activating them with gesso too. That works. You can just take a handful of these pencils and a water brush, you know, one of those ones that you can fill with water, and you let a sketchbook out, and that's all you need. Oh, that's not showing up. That's looking really dull on camera, but it's actually really pretty green. Okay, so opposite of green on the colour wheel would be red. I've got this sort of deep pink. What is this actually called? Pink flamingo. So I'm thinking if I mix them together, I'll get like a dulled down version. That looks really green in real life, but it looks quite browny on camera, but I promise you it's not. Maybe photos will come out better. There we go. So I've just sort of laid them up till I get the sort of intensity of colour that I want. Now I'm going to mix up it's like a greenish brown. I love this 3D fabric that Johnny used for the little dungarees. So cute. Let's add in some texture on with the pencil straight onto the painted bit, just to give a bit more feeling of that texture. And then when I come to do the fine liner afterwards, I'll put in the stitch lines because I love those. Okay, with this little guy, I think I'm going to use the baked earth. I'm not going to kind of fully activate this. I'm going to leave some of that pencil-y texture in there because I think that works quite well for this. Mixed a little bit of blue in now to give me a sort of shadow colour for this one, because again that's opposite on the colour wheel. I'm just ending up doing a mixture of some mixing on the palette, some mixing straight on the page, just to layer it up and get the sort of look I'm after, really. I think for the eyes I'm going to activate with gouache because they're quite pastel-y. Okay, so I'm going to paint the dinosaur behind in the same way, and then I'm going to come back in when I'm sure they're all dry and just add my bit of line work to finish it off. So I'll be back at that point. Well, that's it. I'm done with this video. It's not a masterpiece, but I think it's quite cute, and certainly when I look back at this, I would remember these little characters and what they meant to me. Quick last look at the contents of the box. We've got the Inktense pencils, 6 of those, and we've got the little brush, and we've got the white gouache. And they've all worked together really nicely, and of course we had the padded paper as well. I'm just gonna try and get this for my thumbnail. Yeah, not quite what I had planned, but I've had a lovely time with it, and I feel inspired to carry on, so that's good. Right, so now what we need to do is have a bit of a summing up and some final thoughts. ScrawlrBox is a monthly art supplies subscription box. It costs £20.95 a month. The first point I'm looking at is flexibility. You can cancel at any time. There are different options. You can subscribe for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. I think they work out a bit cheaper. There's also gift subscriptions, so you can buy a gift card from as little as £5 and just give someone something towards a subscription, which is quite a nice idea. You can also get hold of the individual boxes, past boxes. They cost a bit more. I think they're £24.95 if you just buy a past box. But that's one of the advantages of subscribing, I guess. But that's quite a nice idea as a one-off gift, or to try it out if you're not sure. Next point is variety. Now, because I've had a subscription myself before for a number of years, I can tell you from personal experience that you get a huge range. It could be anything from paints to charcoal to various kinds of pencils, watercolour pencils, Inktense pencils, different kinds of markers. I think the very first box I had was all different kinds of black markers, which sounds really odd, but because they all behaved in different ways, some were permanent, some were water soluble, some kind of granulated, I had a huge amount of fun with that first box. And initially you open it and think, oh, all black markers, but they were, yeah, I had a lot of fun with that. But yeah, it varies hugely. Sometimes you'll get paint palettes, just no end. If you have a look on the website, I looked at the website in the last video, so I won't do that again now, but of course I will link to ScrawlrBox and you can have a good look there at some of the past boxes and get an idea. Next one is outside the box. So what are the benefits other than the actual physical items inside the box? And there are quite a few with Scrawlr. So there's actually a subs club where you get discounts, you get access to exclusive products that no one else can get. There's some free stuff to download. I can't look at what's available in there currently because I'm not currently a subscriber, but a lot of inspiration and support available. They're very busy on different social media. Go into that a bit more in a minute. So you can always find inspiration and support when you need it, which is really important. They do a live stream once a month, go through the products and things. They put out little videos showing how to use some of the materials and what have you. There's, in my opinion, there's a lot more to being a Scrawler subscriber than what's physically in the box. Presentation and packaging is the next one. Really important to me. I've said this all along. It needs to, it does need to look pretty. This is like a little gift you're getting in the post every month, so you want it to look nice, you want it to be fun to open, which it is. It's a nice little box. It's always nicely presented and wrapped and everything inside, so that's good. Is it eco-friendly? Yes. Very little plastic, which is very important to me. And the other part of packaging is it practical? Does everything arrive in good nick? Yes, it does. Completeness did I have everything I needed in the box? Not quite, because I did add in a pencil and an eraser, and my fine liner. And like I said earlier, if you want to do the prompt, do the challenge, Scrawlr don't mind you adding in extra supplies like that. The main thing is to use and enjoy the supplies that you've got in the box and just feel inspired. The prompts are there to inspire you. But having said that, if you were giving this to someone, or if you received this and you had no other art supplies at all, you would have everything you need in the box to create a little piece of art. You've got something to, you've got your paper pad or whatever. It's usually some kind of paper pad, but occasionally we've had things like little canvases and things. So yeah, you've got everything you need to start with. Quality of products in the box. Yep, can't fool them. These are from Derwent, who are a UK manufacturer. They work with a lot of really good quality, well-known brands that you'll have heard of. Winsor & Newton, Daler Rowney, I've forgotten the name of the German company, but yeah, they're, you're not talking cheap tip, it's good quality art supplies, nice paper, nice brushes, Instructions, stroke inspiration, brilliant. Now this isn't, so it's not like the craft kits that I've been opening, there's not kind of instructions as such, but there's lots of inspiration and lots of tips and techniques in the zine about different ways to use the supplies. There's advice from the artist. As I said earlier, they do little videos during the month showing how to use different products and things. There are a lot, as well as the prompts that you get in the monthly box, they also constantly run. They've always got different challenges and prompts and things going, so they're very active. Instagram and Facebook, they've got a Discord server now. It's a very, very lively and interactive community. You definitely feel like you're in a club. It kind of blends into the next point really, which is communication and engagement. Yeah, can't fool them on that. They are so busy, and you can, even if you're not subscribed, you can still follow them on Instagram and stuff and see what's going on and join in with challenges and things, just to get a feel for what they're like. They're quite a small team, and you get to know them when you watch their lives and things like that. I've actually been on one of their lives as a guest, actually a long time ago now, which was fun, a bit scary. Okay, next point, big one for a lot of people, value for money. I don't ever bother to add up the individual items in a box to see where I'm getting my money's worth, because for me that's not what it's all about. There's an intrinsic value in having the box curated for you, having the inspiration and stuff all put together, the advice and support that goes along with it, the having it arrive to you in a nice package. All of that is all part of that. What you learn, the fun of trying new things, all of that you can't put a price on. Having said that, I would say, I've not actually bothered to add it up, for 6 Inktense pencils, a nice quality brush, a tube of Daler Rowney gouache, and a little pad of paper, as well as the zine, the sweetie, the post and packing, because post and packing is included in that $20.95. I would say I feel I've got my money's worth. Well, I didn't actually pay for this box, but if I hadn't paid for this box, I would have been very happy with it. And the other thing to bear in mind is it also kind of gives you a purpose to sitting and relaxing and just doing a bit of art. I've really let the art side of my hobbies go recently. I've been taken up with other things, and this has really fired me up to want to get back into art again. So that's really good. Number 11 is enjoyability. Yeah, I have always enjoyed my Scrawlr boxes. Some of them, I suppose there are some, you can't love every single box to bits. There are going to be some that you think, oh, this isn't really my cup of tea. But it's always a challenge, and it's always fun to open that box up. And yes, I've always enjoyed that side of it. So looking at this particular box, from the opening it up, although I knew what was in there, it's still a pleasure to open because it's nicely presented and everything. Did I learn new things or try new things? Yes, I definitely did. Was there scope for creativity? Massively so. I mean, you could go anywhere with there's so many directions you could go with this, and I'm inspired to continue into the future as well, so that's one of the most important things. Was it fun and was it relaxing? Yes, even when it went wrong, that's fine. It doesn't matter. I still enjoyed myself. I still learned something. So finally, outcome. Am I happy with what I did? Well, not entirely, but what I'm doing, what I'm telling myself is this is just a work up to a future ongoing project. And of course, the thing with ScrawlrBox is, because it's art supplies, you're not going to use them all up in one go, are you? So like with the craft boxes and things, you're making a specific project. And some things that you get in the boxes you'll be able to use again, but a lot of it will be, you know, it's just for that project, whereas with this, you can carry on. And I will. At this point in the previous videos, I've said I'm going to give away what I've made. I don't think anybody's going to want this. But lovely Chris at Scrawler, has given me an extra identical box to give away, which is really brilliant. So I'm going to put this in the what I'm calling the Christmas stocking for our December live stream, which is the 7th of December. It's the first Saturday of every month we do our Arty Farty Party, and I'm going to be giving away some of the things I've made with the other boxes I've been looking at, and I'll be giving away this. I think this will be, because it's quite a heavy one, I think this will be a UK only one, but some of the others will be going internationally, so there should be something for everybody. But all in all, I mean, it was a bit of a foregone conclusion because I'm a huge fan of Scrawlr anyway. But all in all, that's another big tick from me. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing Craftiosity, where I had the air drying clay project to work on, so we'll see how that goes. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much to Chris at Scrawlr for sending me not just one but 2 boxes. I really enjoyed it, and I really miss you guys. I really miss having my Scrawlr box, so it's been really fun to get back into it. That's it from me for now. Thank you very much again for joining me, and I'll see you again really soon.